Hello everyone, I'm Henry Lee. Now we are going to show you the process of design and carving a name seal for Fiona, an artist in Australia. Um, Fiona has requested me to translate or recreate her Chinese name. He had a seal done by someone else in China before, but she wanted more personalized design. So I uh, learned from her that she likes ocean, she likes fish, she likes color blues, and so on and so forth. And she's very spontaneous, very creative artist. Um, so we designed. We come up with this name first. It's Fei. I didn't have a Chinese brush with me, so maybe I use markers. You can see better. Fei means the jade color of the kingfisher, or um, the color of ocean, green. Fei, and this one is very unique. It reads Ao. Fei Ao Na. I'll explain. So this is a phonetic translation, basically. Fei Ao Na. If you put the English Fiona, Fiona, O-F-I-O, Fiona, in Google translation from English to Chinese, it will come up with a standard phonetic translation, something like Fei, Fei Ao Na, Fei Ao Na. They always use the same word for the sound, Ao. Obama has this Ao, and someone else has Ao, and then for Fei Ao Na, Fei Ao Na. This is the phonetic translation. If you use Google Translator, everybody will be the same. So if you want more personalized, you can recreate the name in every letters in the dictionary is possible. So you have to be very careful. Some may not suitable for names, but it could be. There's no limit that which letter you can use for your name, but you better ask a native speaker like me. But we do this as part of the design, the seal design process. So I cannot do it for free. Please understand that this is it takes a lot of brain to develop a personalized name. So I choose this first character meaning jade, or the ocean color, the green, and same pronunciation Fei, but this Fei is different, has a meaning. And second character I use the Ao is a big turtle, a legendary ocean turtle, giant turtle. So I use this one to replace the Ao, the same pronunciation but different meaning. And Na is the same. It's a elegant or beautiful lady. That's a lady's name. So we know it's a female name. Fiona, Fiona. That's the challenge is that these characters does not exist in the ancient names. So I cannot find reference in the archive of ancient seals. But I do have some other, some parts that I can assemble them, like from the different radicals. So here I developed some design And as you see on the lower left corner, I have a seal um, with 4 characters. You know, in the end of the Chinese name seal, we normally add a 4th character called yin or seal. So it reads the seal of someone. Like if I my name would be Li Xiaohui Ying. The 4th letter is the common character Ying or seal. So I designed this this one as you see on the lower left corner in negative carving or yin style or in yang style. I showed Fiona this first design, and she said it's not her style. It looked too busy, too much going on. So she asked me if I can redo it. Of course, I can, right? So this is my unique working process. I don't carve until I got approval from the client. So you have chance to see the preview of my design before I carve it. So I did this one based on her idea of a Zen that she requested a more Zen style. Everybody knows Zen. It's simple and and spontaneous. So I used some handwriting I found online, different from different period, the grass style or the Han official clerk style, Li style, and this long one is actually I rearranged it. So this design is a 3-character layout. It reads from top right to left, then goes like a circle, goes to the right. So from right to left and from top down. So this left character is the turtle character is borrowed from a Yan style chop, signature mark. In Yuan style, they have this handwriting. It's mostly very like image seal, not readable characters, because the Yuan dynasty has a lot of foreigners in China. They use this kind of image mark, we call it. Like could be letters, could be images, not really readable. But so she said, "Can I TD it to make it neater?" I told her that the reason I cannot make it look like the computer font or the standard script is because I'm going to carve this on the stone, and I don't know where it was chipped. So if I correct some of the strokes here on my design, it might chip someone else. So it will generally look like this broken, chipped, with handwriting or hand carving stone seal. I cannot really make it as neat as a metal seal like they use in the post office or something like office stamp. It's not like that, so I cannot make it to look neater. Although I can make some characters, some strokes clear, but I might miss some others, so it will look like a chipping like this. If you want handwriting style or yes, signature mark style. So I did a 3rd attempt, and luckily we both agreed to do this. This also I showed her the different variations from it. I can add a border to this negative carving. and I can reverse it to do it in a red stroke. Actually, if you want more spontaneity, I think this works the best. So we decide to go with this one. Long story. If you want your personalized seal, please go to my website, Blue Heron Arts, and find custom design and carving seal service. So the next I will show you how I proceed with the design. So I print out a coupon sheet because there are multiple copies of the design, and just in case I fail in the transfer attempt, I can do it again. Or if something goes wrong during the carving, I can erase it and do it again. So this is very convenient. And I use a liquid called acetone. It's a paint remover or nail polish remover. You can find it in cosmetic supplies or hardware stores. It's acetone. And then just press from the back side of the print. Before it gets evaporated completely, you lift it, and we got a copy. Best of all, it's not going to erase easily with a wet hand fingers. So it's better than the traditional ink reverse writing on it. Or you can use permanent marker if you want to copy the design. But if you make a mistake, you have to do it again. So this is a life-saving technique I've used, and it's the best to keep the design consistent with the agreed. So I'll just carve when I talk. We cut out the extra margin, and you can see the seal will be like a relief carving. It's not perfectly flat like a rubber stamp. You don't have to do this, right? So we need the rubber underneath it. So sometimes the stroke gets broader in some imprint, some narrower, depends on the pressure. The edge is rounded like this, and corners look like the old computer monitor. So cut out the corners. If you press harder, the seal will be bigger. Okay, I got some sand in it. Some glass in it. Okay. Okay. See, I can wipe the debris without worry about erasing the design. Let me lower the camera so it might be easier for you to see. Okay, I hope you can see better now. I have one copy Here is the mirror image for my reference. Let me change my glass. You don't have to follow the sequence of writing when you carve it. The key to make a good character in Chinese writing system or calligraphy is to keep the space between strokes, the squares, either closed squares or the imaginary squares, equal or even in one character and overall. That will make the design really nice. But in still engraving art, we have some free space, just to create a contrast between the dense and the sparse. This corner is not clear, so I refer to my design. You can see on the left side, as long as I have a position, I can work. So you can carve in one cut, just like writing with the knife. But you can also repeat it to broaden it if needed. Some part of the stone has a sand. It's like a glass, very hard. Some softer. It's harder than you think, basically. You can try this with a soup stone. They also have Italian soup stone for sandstone for what do you call the sculpture carving. You can try that, but it's too large. I don't know how to make it smaller. If you know, you can use that. I have some natural kind of blurry there, so I think they might be good. I'll just go with the flow. So there's a little space that's missing because they're too small. That's okay. I think okay, let's see. Okay, this is very important. I try to follow the design as close as I can, but it might be different. But the principle is you have to follow the pictograph, so it's still readable, even it chips. Repeating. You can repeat from different directions, so both sides of the line or the stroke will be smooth. If you do that, if you just rotate this, left and right, because one side of the cut is smooth than the other. If you want both sides smooth, you have to rotate the stone. Let me see if we got some questions here. Okay, no questions. I'll continue. Actually, you can do fine tuning, like make all the adjustment of details later. You don't have to because the reason is some big mistake may require abandon of the project and do it. I mean, abandon of this attempt to do it again. So if you already make a perfect stroke, the time would be wasted. But the fine tuning could be done at the last. So let me just do in a speedy way to begin with. We have 3 horizontal strokes on this side of the large character. So I try to vary the length of it, but keep the space in between equal. You cannot vary too much because they're supposed to be the same. Vary this width could also help. I like the spontaneity. She likes it also of this design, so I would just try to go with one cut. The vertical line is the bone. There are more horizontal strokes in Chinese writing than the vertical ones. The vertical usually serves as the spine in the structure of the bone, backbone. So it's usually stronger. Not all the strokes are equal. And that's the difference between my artistry and computer-generated seals these days. People are selling them very cheaply online. They are not as artistic as the hand-carved seals. It's pretty hard. Take some rest. I'm sorry if the table shakes, I mean the camera shakes, but you can feel my energy that way. This next part is the radical fish. The upper part is the phonetic component of the compound of the pictograph. So it indicates what kind of fish. It's the turtle creature in the ocean. It's a legendary called Ao. It's in the Chinese legend or the mythical creature. Like a dragon in Chinese legendary animals. I think maybe found in Zhuangzi. It's lots of legendary things in the Taoist book. You know, when I have a big square space and there's something inside, I do the envelope first. The outside shape first, so I know the space, the overall space. Then I divide it with additional strokes inside. Not the way of writing, but it's a good way to design. Try to create the rhythm of writing, like using the brush, as if using the brush. So they're lifting and pressing, different pressure at the turns, just like painting the orchid leaf. You know, you make a nice curve, nice turns in the calligraphy stroke, just like writing. We call the Chinese writing and the painting are of the same origin. And this art, the seal engraving art, is the highest form of visual art in Chinese art realm, and very few people can reach this realm. It's like, to make a metaphor, a little pavilion in the back of a Chinese garden. Very high art. It combines linguistic knowledge, design knowledge, you know, fine art, everything, and antiquarianism, the archaeology of the evolution of Chinese characters, are part of this art. I'm very proud to be a seal engraving artist, just like Master Qi Bai Shi, Master Fu Bao Shi, and other masters like Ba Da San Ren, you know, or Wu Cangshuo, the Shanghai master. They're all great masters of seal engraving art. So seal engraving art is really the highest form of Chinese art. And some artists, historians, even compared it to the Western music in Western art garden. So, like, you know, the symphony music, or Western music is very high class art. This art is like music. And people in China are paying more than 1,000 yen, at least, back 100 years ago. Now even higher, you know, for famous, for established seal engraving artist, because the training and experience, you know, it's hard to develop this kind of form. So if you think it's you can get it cheaper online, you just do it and compare the quality with my design and my result. You ask questions: can you see the design before they carve? Will they use computer fonts or hand designed? And how do they, you know, keep the quality as the design? Because it's all, you know, I combine the traditional way of doing things and you know, the latest technology like this. So this is, I cannot use laser. Someone suggests me if I can use laser 3D printer or something like that. laser cutter. Yes, you can use different materials than the stone, because stone is formed by volcanic in the early stage of the Earth, you know, volcanic power, high temperature. Laser will make the stone explode simply. You cannot carve it with a laser gun on the stone. It will just explode. You can do the wood or plastic maybe, but not with this, you know, with a stone. There are four little dots on the bottom of the design, and I made 4 dashes into 4 dots here in this design to echo each other. This to keep this, you know, unity in variety, right? The computer won't do this for you because they don't. Computer font is not designed based on, you know, the grouping of this, the context of the design, right? And basically, the font is totally different aesthetically than handwriting. Just, you know, it just like too mechanical, too equal. Everything is the same. Just you can tell the difference. Never use computer generated seal on your artwork. It's tasteless. It's tasteless. It will ruin your good work. I'm not sure if I can do this 5 years later, you know, but I wish Qibaishi did this all his life. But my eyesight is declining. I may have to do, you know, fewer works, and by controlling the order I receive, I may have to raise the price just to match other fellow artists in China. You know, at my age, they all charge much more, actually, than the quality is the same. You know. It's a lifetime investment. I'll be very proud if you're famous. You know, I have a seal that was carved by an artist named Ma in Nanjing. And he did the seal just before a lecture he delivered in Nanjing University. I was a graduate student. I asked him to carve a seal. He did it before the lecture. The night after the lecture, he passed away. So I was so lucky that, you know, I got his last work. I will show you next time when I do a painting. It's a large name seal, actually, 1 inch square. This is 3/4 inch, by the way. It's very common size. This is the article I'm doing. It's the feather. Looks like a bird's feather, right? It's the kingfisher. Kingfisher, you know, the radical of a bird feather. 鱼. Look like a feather, does it? This. This one is not the same length. I try to vary the angle a little bit and the length a little bit. Here, it's very subtle. my first job when I quit my academic career and in internet gold rush, I I got my job in an internet development company called USA.net, and I designed the free email website, the buttons, the buttons. Um, at that time, each button is 16 pixels, so I'm a pixel painter in the company. I think my experience in seal engraving art really helped. I really care about the little difference of pixel at pixel level, just like a pixel painter. When I design the icons, the icon they call it, the icon like button or icon logos, that kind of thing. Um, and later it became 32 and then 64, and now it's much larger at pixel level. But when I just started in 1995, my design work, it required me to do all the just like arrows, or like a little envelope, or that kind of icon, in 16 pixels space. So I can work very small. The smallest seal I do is about one fourth of this. So it's just about one character big. But I can only do 1 or 2 characters, not 4 characters on that. I might do 3, but if the name is simple with fewer strokes, it all depends. Some strokes, like this character has so many strokes, it will take 2 space. Cannot do that in a small. Well, you can do one stone, for last name, 1 stone for first name. The last character is not. It's a common character for ladies with na. It's just like the English name. We also have this kind of common character, li na, or some na, means lady, beautiful lady. And someone may interested in learning, asking me if you have books written on how to carve this. I don't think so. In Chinese, there are many books, but I never learn things from books. These days, I think it's much easier for us to learn by watching videos. Like I learned how to paint watercolor. I bought many books for, like 20 years ago, I started to collect books on watercolor. I tried to learn by books, but it won't help. And now I can watch videos on internet. I learn so fast, by watching videos, by watching people how to do it. It's very difficult to describe things in words, like crafts in words. Very difficult. I lost track where the work is. Let me take a brief look. Let me see. We have a comment from Mr. Cai Ming Hui. Oh yeah, this is related to my painting and poetry. Oh, okay. I'll reply to your question later. Now let me concentrate on this carving. Thank you for watching my other videos as well. And you can comment on the relative video for follow up, easier follow up, because if you talk about Arcade, and then I cannot find the questions you mentioned. If you ask questions right under the related video, it will help me to respond. I'm doing this ladies 女 radical. Very hard stone. Some stone is much softer. It's all different. Some part of the stone is soft. Some part is harder. See, I try to keep the space, the size of the negative space relatively equal, so it would look very teeded, very teeded or neat. If you vary the space, it will be more contrast and more contemporary or modern than the classic writing. It's all about inner negative space. And some strokes may lose, like this long foot could be because it's no closed stroke. Let me just do that. And there, you can combine. Sometimes it's not purpose, but sometimes like this, you can combine stroke, like they wrote it together and something to create some closed space. So you can merge two parts into one, sometimes neighboring parts. But I not try. It should happen naturally. If you try to make everything on purpose, it will lose the spontaneity of that natural look. We call it. This is like the antique look or antiquarianism. The taste of antique. Now I'm just doing some fine tuning to make the stroke deep enough and wide enough so it will not it will show clearly. Okay, this I think it's too hard to do that. Okay. Some space need to be closed. Some. There are four space here. I try to make them not equal, so you can adjust that by broaden some strokes. Okay, that's about it. Okay, maybe dust it off and make a imprint. See, I try to get it all done in one shot, so you don't have to keep watching this forever. And because the fine tuning, it could be really complicated if I leave everything on to the fine tuning stage. Okay. I think I'm done. All right. You could use a brush. I think let me just find a brush. I use my penny brush. It could be a toothbrush. And you just blow. Okay, put this away. Okay. Here's the correct way of loading the ink. You can hold it in one hand, otherwise it'll make lots of noise, like this. It's kind of hard, especially in the winter time. It turns harder, just like oil, you know, butter. It's not. It's not. It's a plant oil. It's not butter. Okay, just to make metaphor. So it turns hard in the winter. In the summer, you may got oil spill. You can keep it in the refrigerator, if you will, in the summer, but not winter. Okay, just make sure check, you know, to see if all this surface is loaded with ink, and then put a rubber underneath it. I use a mirror also because my soft padding under. I have to use a hard surface to balance that, and you can blow some hot moisture from your mouth, hot air. Don't touch it. Okay, now just place very gently on the surface, and then press really hard, and wave a little bit. Make sure the all the corners are okay. Not very good, but I can see what I need. I have to broaden a lot of strokes so they are not too thin. I think this copy is not very clear, so I need to make a clean copy. The first one usually, because you know the dark ink is slippery, make it difficult to load. I can maybe sand off a little bit. Oh, this is hard to do. So some part I have to live with the stone, the sand, just get around it, because if I force it, it might chip. Okay, let me do it again on the other side. This is just my test. Actually, I do it on the paper. It's much easier. Okay. I think I will load more ink. Right, and there we go. Press down. Don't move. That's the key. And lift gently. That's nice. Okay, this copy is much clearer. I think it looks okay to me. The margin may be a little too large. I will make it closer to the characters. This is what I do. I just knock it out like that. This in the past is a way to make it render in chips, so it's difficult to reproduce for people, you know, to as the authenticity mark. You want to make it unique. It's not possible to duplicate, right? Well, it's a little over, but I think it will definitely makes unique. Something very accidental happens. Let me see. I like that corner with the accident pattern that I cannot really carve it. That's the chipping effect on this upper left corner. And I want to take this corner out, this part. It's hard to... It's too hard. Let's carve it. It's hard. It's like a heart, very hard. Oh, that's so hard. I got it's hard labor. One last print, I hope. Oops, I got another shot on the corner on the porcelain case. This will really help to control the grain, make it less grainy with a little bit moisture from my mouth. That's it. Okay, I'll make an official imprint now on my collection book. You know, someone has lost their seal in a forest fire recently, last year, and so she came back to get the reproduction. So this book is very important to keep for all my old customers. If you lost the seal, you can come back to me and I'll do it again. Although it's not possible to reproduce all the chipping effect, but you know, at least we can try. This is a Buddhist Dharma name I did last. This one is for Fiona in Australia. It takes about 10 days to ship there. Beautiful, right? Okay, I will make another copy. Not this. Okay, for Fiona on this card. So you go into the box. Oops. If you use hard paper like watercolor paper, you can wet the paper and, you know, dampen the paper, not wet, just so you can stamp on it. Hold the paper with oh, here's a good example of orientation. I did it upside down. And how do you know the correct orientation? This is the rule. I always, or a professional seal engraving artist, always sign the name on the left side of the stone. So my signature will be right there. I just do it, maybe. Let me see. Where's my knife? I'll do the year. It's my birth year, so I have to use that. And my name will be Yihai, meaning the year of pig, and my signature. Okay, I just do it on the side. Here's a sand line. I cannot carve that just next to that. Xiao Hui, my Chinese name. Morning sunshine. Okay, that's it. Usually my last stroke goes all the way to the bottom, so if you erase it, recover it, it will not be mine, right? That's the trick, I mean the secret. So this is the year that my signature is on the left side, so you know the orientation next time when you use it. When I use it, I will look at the signature like on my left side, so it will be always correct. Thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you in my next video live stream on YouTube. And if you want to order a seal from me, go to Brookhaven Arts, and I will place a link in the description of this video. Bye bye. Someone commented in Spanish. I can't read it. I will translate with Google later and respond later. Thank you.